screen so it's not going to be so blank from your end. Mm. All right. Just a minute. Okay, so today we would be talking more about it's an office hour, right? So I'm sure you already understand what's expected. Okay. So I'm just at my workbench. Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure it's gonna be a lengthy time today. Um, I think it's going to be a brief one because this is going to be the last aspect of your SQL. So what we had previously was the last webinar. All right. So we just want to get your concerns, questions, things that would be like your blockers for your exam. Okay. So let's just get it and let's see if how we can help to clarify things. Okay. Because we want it to really pass and not just pass, but to understand what you are doing. So if there is any confusion at all in your SQL journey that you think might be obstructive in your learning or in your exams, please just feel free to clear the waves. All right, just let us know, and then we'll try our possible best to make things easy for you. Okay, so you can post in the chat. You can raise your hand if you want to say something, if something you want to explain, and we'll get to you. So I'm going to leave these open to anyone who is ready. I think if we just give some time, nobody's ready, then it's like everybody is perfect with their SQL skills. Yep. Okay, so now it's over to you, learners. Let us know. But first of all, I'm not seeing anybody in the chats. Can you just tell me what's going on? Like, is it? Hope you can chat. Hope you can send something in the chat. Please, people, post something in the chat. Are you? Let me be sure that. Oh, I'm speaking with live audience because the chat is so blank on my end. All right. Hi, everyone. Just drop a hi if you can hear me. Just drop a hi in the chat. Okay, I see Gabriel. All right, so that's proof. Awesome. Awesome. All right, so now I see people. Okay, so I'm secured. I'm among the land of the living. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's go. I'm here to help you. Okay, so let's do this. All right, ask your questions now. Ask your questions now, and let's clear the air. Or should I ask you the question? Okay, let
Hi,
me ask.
Byron. I think
Yeah.
someone is raising their hand actually.
Oh,
Um,
it.
I think just Gabriel Austin is raising their hand.
Oh, okay. I
Gabriel, can you unmute so that you can?
Yeah, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
hi hi Gabriel.
All right. I wanted to ask. I tried this tmdb.db file. I tried opening it on the SQL workbench, but it's not really working. So can you just like show me how you just did it on your own system?
Um, do you have the link to the folder?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think maybe you should share your own screen. Let's see the link and then I can guide you.
Like the path to the folder, right?
There was a link we shared to the file. the TMDB file. I would like to see how you try to handle that, and then we know where the issue is from and see how to resolve it for you.
Okay, sir.
Can you share your screen? I would stop sharing. Okay, Sylvia, I see you say you have issue with CTE. Okay. I did a webinar on that. One of our PPLs, I think the one before the last one, I touched on subqueries and CTE. But I'll see if we could touch that. Let's see if Gabriel can bring up his screen. Gabriel, do you have like an estimate? Do you like the time you think we can wait for that?
Okay, you can. Let me try to do it. Sure, just give me like maybe 5 minutes or something.
Okay. Okay, so let me see what I could do for the CTE. Let me just share. So Gabriel, just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, sir.
All right, so I'm trying to share my screen now, so it should be coming up very soon. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about CTE. Okay, let's talk about CTE. CTE means let me. Okay, so CTE means common table expressions. All right, so that's the meaning of CTE, common table expressions. Okay. Okay, so now it's not difficult. Okay, so just try to understand here. So it says common table expressions. I'm not going to break the words one by one like that, but I will try as much as possible to clarify things here. The major thing I will pick here is table and expressions. Okay, and for say common means that these are like um frequent table expressions. So the question is, what do you mean by table expressions? Okay, what do you mean by table expressions? So let's just say, let's use a query to explain something. Let me look at one of these tables. Okay, so let's see what's in the others column. Select all from others, and we have these. Okay. All right. I'm trying to get like an information here. Okay, there is something we did in the last class, right? So let's say we want to get like let's say we want to get the customers, the highest paying customers, right? The highest paying customers. So let's talk together. All right, let's gist. When we say highest paying customer, what do we mean? Let's assume that it's going to be what criteria would make us consider someone as the highest paying customer? Or let's say should we say highest paying, or what was the term we gave those customers? Like say the premium customers, right? Let's say premium customers. Okay. Or what other term can we use? Like people that make orders the most, something something customers. What do we call those kind of guys? Premium is one of those words, right? Do we have other words we could use to explain those kind of customers in the chat? Any other word we could use? Or should we go for premium? VIP, okay. Okay, so let's say, let me use, okay, let's say premium VIP. Now, when we say premium, VIP, what is the criteria? What's the criteria we should use? How do we explain them? Are there people that have the highest number, people that make the highest number of orders? Or is it the volume or what? How do we explain them? Let's assume that these are premium customers make the highest orders. Okay. All right. So let me bring up that table. Do I still have it? Yeah. So this is so this is our table, right? So we have employee ID. So let's say these are the orders, right? So let's look at something here. So let's select um let's even see how many customers are in this table. Let's say counts of customer ID, right? Count of customer ID from orders. So I'm not using TMDB. I'm using Northwind, okay, to explain this. I can't use your exam database to explain this stuff, okay? So it's not an expo class, it's an explanation class. All right, so I'll use select these from orders, okay? Now I want to count the number of customers we have. So just watch. This says 830 customers. All right. But does this really mean 830 customers are buying? That's the question I'm asking. I'm saying select count of the customer IDs in the orders table. Does it mean we have 830 customers that are buying? Okay. Diana says no. Any other person? Any person? I'm trying to get to the city, okay? So just flow with me. Okay, so people are very reserved today. You're not willing to make a lot of comments. It's fine. So now we have let's go with Diana's opinion saying no. And I agree with her, right? So this does not mean that we have 830 customers. So what this means is that we have 830 orders, okay? Because customer ID is in the orders table. So it's it's a real life scenario, right? You walking into a supermarket to go buy some items. You go back again that day to buy more items. Your name is going to be recorded twice. That's what it means. So does that mean two customers came to buy? No. Okay. So you need to understand the business case, right? So when it comes to orders, orders could have multiple customer IDs there. Okay, because a customer could make multiple purchases. Just like you log into an e-commerce platform and you make multiple orders there, your name could appear multiple times based on those orders. Okay, so that's what's happening here. So to see the exact number of customers that came, so if I bought 5 times, that is just me buying. Okay, so if I want to see that, I could just use distinct. I'll just add the distinct keyword to this query, and I would see, what do we have? Distinct. Okay, so distinct counts. This is interesting. So I'm seeing 830. Is that do we think that is correct, or is my query wrong? Do we think this is correct, or is my query wrong? Might be wrong. No, I want you to tell me if it is wrong. Okay. Okay, let me do something here. So what I'm going to do here is I will do customer ID here. I will say customer ID, right? And let's see all the customer IDs. Awesome. So obviously I'm seeing there are some duplicates here, right? So if I do distinct customer ID, I should see that these are appearing once, right? Okay. So the query was the issue, right? So what I should have done is counts first, okay, then distinct customer ID, right? So because I will need to get the unique customer ID first. Then I'm saying count the unique customer ID. Do you understand? Are we understanding? So let's run this. If I run this, I see 89, no longer 830. Okay. So you could see how interesting it could be, right? You use distinct counts. Let me explain why. Okay. So let's go to the previous one we did. We use distinct. Okay. And we did counts of what do we call that? Counts of customer ID. All right. So what do we get here? Wow, this guy is behaving himself now. Is this what we did then? Let me do a count first. 830, and then we did a distinct. It's to give me 830. Okay. So you have to be careful, right? You need to understand what's going on. Okay. So what happens here is at this point, this is when you are doing your board mass, right, in mathematics, or where you start with the parentheses or the brackets, right? So at this point, the engine has handled this one first. It's counted it. So when you want to say I want to get the unique of these counts, it's just like saying you want to get distinct of 830, right? So it's going to give you 830, because when it calculates this, it has given you 830 already. All right. So when you calculate this, that's giving you 830 already. Okay. All right. So the best thing for you to do is you have to count, you have to do the distinct counts. All right. So just say, look at it here. I want to do a distinct. Okay. There's something I didn't mention here. Count customer ID is going to give you 830. Okay. If when you add distinct, you are just saying, give me the unique value of 830. It does not make sense, right? Because 830 is just one item, it's just one value. So a unique value is saying it's just one value, so it will give you the same result, right? But if I say I want the distinct, okay, of customer ID, this is it, right? So these are my unique customer IDs. So then I'm saying now count the unique customer IDs. That's what I'm saying. Count these unique customer IDs. It will give me 89. All right. So it has counted each of those items. So there are 89 values and it counted them. All right. So you need to know, you need to use this is just you knowing your normal, say, flowchart, pseudocode kind of understanding. All right. So this is just logic. Code is not code is more like an application of the logic. So you have to do your logic, build your logic before you write your code. Okay, so what I'm trying to get to now is I'm trying to get to the VIP customer. So let's say the customers we need are people that um are the customers that have the highest orders, right? So let's say first of all we need like the order ID. Okay. Oh, I can't recall the columns here. Let me check. Okay, so there is an order ID. Okay, so we need the order ID. We need the customer ID. Okay, because I want to know the customers that have the highest frequency of orders, right? So how are we going to get the highest frequency of orders? It's going to be a count, right? So I have to count the order ID. Okay, so I want to know the number of orders these customers have made, right? Then I want to also see the customer IDs, the customers themselves, right? Then not just that, what else? What other information do I want to see? Let's say I want to see the dates. Let's say the maximum dates, right? I want to see like maybe the most recent dates of their orders. Okay, so I'm gonna say I will need the order dates, right? I'll need the order dates, but to get the most recent date, I'll say the max order dates. All right. So I'll have the number of orders. I want to see the customers and I want to see the most recent dates. Are we together? Now, if I run this, I'm going to have an error. Why do you think we are going to have an error? Why do you think we'll have an error if I run this? Yes, please. Anybody? Going? Going? I don't specify where to select, but I wrote select. This is select. This counts. So all these are items under select. They are part of the select statement. Yep. So if you are doing an aggregation, exactly. If you are doing an aggregation, you have an aggregation column and a non-aggregation column. You have to use a group by. You cannot add a normal column with aggregation columns together without using a group by. So I have to use group by. So, and the group by you use would be on the normal column. So even though I put multiple columns there, as far as they are normal columns, they should be declared in the group by statement. Okay, so with this now, I have this, right? So these are the customers. Okay, so let me rearrange this because the number of orders is coming first. So let me rearrange this and put this here. And let me put an alias. Okay. So I say customer ID as let's say customer. Or let's leave it as customer ID. Okay. The counts, let's say this count will be the number of customers or number of orders. Number of orders. Okay. What else? Maximum. The alias should be say recent order dates. All right. So okay, recent order dates. Okay, so let's run this and we have this. All right. Now, hope we followed to this point. Hope this is understandable. All right. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is, we know we've not really gotten that answer. We are talking of, so we've gotten this. This is the table that has these customers and the number of orders. But I want to get like I want to get the best customers, right? So what I will do here is I want to order it in descending order, right? So I will order by, so that's me rearranging it, or we could say sorting it in descending order. So I will order by number of orders, right? Number of orders in descending order, right? So now you would see that the highest order comes first. Okay, the highest order comes first. So we have 31, 30, 28, and the rest. Maybe I want to proceed. Probably I want to get, let's say I want to get top 5 customers. All right. So let's say I want to get the top, let's say top 10, okay, clients. Now that simply means I will use one keyword. What's the keyword? What keyword are we going to use? If I want to get the top 10, now I have already filtered it, I've already sorted it, right? In descending order. So if I want to get the top 10, what am I going to use? What's keyword? Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Justice. Okay, so now I will do a limit 10. Okay, and then I have the top 10. So you can see that this guy here is first here, right? And this guy here is this is the second, this is the third, and if you check, they are just 10. Okay, so now you've succeeded in getting the top 10. Okay, now you succeeded in getting the top 10. All right, look at what happens here. Let's say there is an additional thing I want to do to this table. I want to get information from this table. Okay, let's say I want to ask, there's something I want to do. Okay, let's say I want to say I want to see what's the average, what's the average. Okay, let's say what's the average orders. Sorry. Okay, so what's the average orders? The average order of the top 10 of the top 10 clients. You following me? Are we together? You know, you've gotten the top 10, right? So now you want to get what's the average orders of these top 10 clients. You know, if it was what's the average of the when we say what's the average of a particular data set, you know, you just use the average function. But in this case, it's asking for the average of the top 10 clients. So that means you first need to get the top 10 clients first, right? And their total orders. Then you will now do the average. That means the average should be only on the orders of the top 10. Do you agree with that? You agree with that, right? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Now, but the thing is, how are we going to do this? This is where CTE comes in handy. This is an example where CTE comes in handy, because now the calculation you want to do is on an expressed table. This is expression. So you have created, you know, this table does not exist in your data set. This table is just, you know, you just created a table. Do you know that? But this is not exactly a table. What you just created is a table expression, right? So this is an expression of a table, all right? So this is a table expression. This, if you check your database, you're not going to see this. This is more like a derived table that you've done. Do you understand what I just explained? What you just did here, this your top 10 customers, is a derived table. Okay, so now you are not trying to work on the derived table. So you are trying to work on the table's expression, on a table expression, on an expression of a table or on a derived table. That's what you're trying to do. Okay. So how am I going to do this? Okay, I don't have to convert this into a table. You can convert this into a table in your database. But like I tell many data analysts, most times you don't have the privilege of creating tables in the database. All you need to do most times is to reach the table. So how are you going to do that if you don't have access to convert this to a table in your database? It's not everything you have to convert to a table, because you probably just need this once to work on it. So what you would do here is you can still work on this as though it is a table in your database. Okay, that's where CTE comes in. So let's say I want to get the average orders of the 10 clients, of the top 10 clients. In my database, there is no table for top 10 clients. So I had to create a query that is going to generate table for the top 10 clients. But that table does not exist in the database. So it just exists in my query. So, but how can I get this? I can use this table and apply further query on it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. So it's and paste it. I feel like this place is crowded already. Okay. So now let me reduce the fonts, see if that's going to help. Okay. Is it still visible to you? Is it still clear to you? I want you to be able to see it. Hope the font size is okay. Okay. Awesome. Now, remember, we are trying to get the average orders from these top clients. Okay, so I'm not to do that. I can't. It's going to be wrong if I do average order from the entire data set. I'll get a wrong response. You'll get an answer, but it won't be correct. That's why I said logic comes before coding. Okay, so first of all, I need to get the top 10 customers. Then I'll run an average on those top 10 customers. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, I'm going to change this into a common table expression, which is CTE. Okay. So it is more like this is a table that I derived. Okay. But it is a table expression. So I want to be able to write another query on this table. Like I want to be able to query this table. So I have to wrap it into a CTE so that I'll be able to make query on it as though it is a database. So that's what it is. So easy, I'll just put this in parentheses. Okay, I'll remove this semicolon. I'll just put this inside parentheses. So just follow suit so you understand better. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do here is I would write the width. So it's CTEs are also known as width clause or something like that, right? So I'll write the width. So I'll say width. I'll call the table name. I'll just give it a table name. So let's say this is top customers. All right. So with table name as this is all. This is just all. So what I have done here is I have wrapped this column, this table expression I just did. I've put it inside this particular wrapper called CTE, and I gave it a name. Now, this name is as if it's the name of the table. All right, that's what I've done. So I've given it a name called top customers. Look at what is going to happen. If I type select all from these top customers, I would have that same table. So you can see I can now write queries on a table that I just generated. That's what CTE helps you do. Do you understand it to this point? Are we together? Is anybody confused? Okay. So CTU helps you to create a table, and then you can write queries for that table or on that table, right? So now, based on this, I can even call certain columns and say, okay, I just want to see the customer ID here. All right. So I just want to see the customer ID, and I want to see what do we call it? I want to see say the recent order dates from this table. Okay. So if I run this, I'm having the customer ID and the recent order dates. So you see how CTE works. Okay. So now let's get that average. So to get that average, all I'll just need to do is I want to get like, okay, what was that question? What's the average orders of the top 10 clients? So I could just say average, right? Average of the number of orders, right? So I'll just put this number of orders. Okay. I could just call this average orders. I run this and look at. So this is the average order of the top 10 clients, 21.3. Do you understand what we've just done? Are we together? Are we good? Okay. All right. So I think I've lost some of you. Someone else is saying no. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. For those that probably don't understand, I'll give you a very simple thing here. Let's get the average order of, let's say let's do select all from orders. Let's go to our original table that exists in the database. Okay, this is the original table. All right. Now let's get the average orders of this. Okay, average. Sorry, average. Where are the orders? Do we have? Okay, so for to get the average here, I'll need to do a count, right? So let me see if this is going to work. So I want to get the average. Okay, the average order. Okay, what should we use? Okay, so let me do a count. Let me do this. Count is not going to work. I can't do counts and do an average of counts. Okay, so how are we going to do this? I want to get the average orders. Okay, the average orders. So let me do this. Okay, let me just say select what. Let's get the counts of the orders first. All right, let's get the count of the orders. Okay, from orders. So this is the count. That's not exactly what I want. Let's just get the order IDs. So this is the order IDs. Okay, these are the order IDs from the orders. Okay, these are the order IDs from the orders. Let me see if I'm going to get average based on this. Okay, so I can get average based on this. Okay, so I have, this is the average of the order IDs. Do you understand? Now I need to be certain. Now you have to be careful, right? You have to be careful with this, because first of all, this does not exactly mean, if you do an average of this order ID, you might get something, you might get an answer, but it's not correct, because it's probably calculating this as individual numbers. Meanwhile, an average is meant to be based on the average of the order ID, should be the after counting the items. I don't know if you get my point. What he's doing here is 1,249 plus 10,251 plus 10,258, and he's trying to sum everything and then dividing it by the number. That's not correct, because this order ID is just an ID. It is not the number of orders. So you have to be careful. That's why I said the business logic is necessary. Like if I want to do, let's go back to our table, select all. I'm really trying to see how I can explain to you. Let's say select all from customer ID. You see, let's try and get average of customer ID. I don't think this should give us a response. It should give us an error, because this customer ID is not number. So it gives us 0. Can you see that? So it's giving us 0 because it's not a number. All right. So we need to find a way to count to get the frequency. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a group by. All right. So select let's select customer ID. All right. Select customer ID. Then let's do a count of order ID. I'm using the what data set is this? Northwind. I'm using Northwind data set. So it's something you have already. So select this from orders. All right. So now if I do this, okay, I didn't do a group by. So group by the customer ID. So if I do this, I'm seeing now that this customer has this customer has this, right? So that's what I'm seeing. All right. So we have these are the number of orders. Now I can run an average based on this. Okay. Can you see how it was difficult for us to run an average directly based on this? So for me to be able to run this average, I have to create a table that is going to write this query. Okay, so I can have the numeric representation of the orders. I don't know. I feel like I've lost some persons. If you are lost, please let me know. Are we together? Nobody's letting me know. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Cool. So what is happening here is it should be tricky if you go and say average of the order ID. It's going to give you a wrong response because the order ID is not meant to be a number per se. It's an ID, just like your registration number, your passport ID. You know, you cannot say your passport ID is maybe your passport ID is 1001. You know, that's not exactly a number, it's an identifier, right? So it doesn't mean like you're the 1001 person that had that particular ID. It doesn't really represent that. Okay, so it's meant to be like a string or like an alphabet. All right, so that's what it is. So you cannot run average on a non-numerical column. So if you put average on other IDs and it gives you a response, it is tricky. All right. It is very tricky because it is recognizing that your other ID as a numerical column. IDs, even though they have numbers, should not be recognized as a numerical column. I hope you understand that part. IDs are not, you can make them a string. They are actually meant to be strings, okay, not numbers. You cannot say I want to get how many IDs do you have? And I'm saying something like, okay, my own is 1001, your own is 1002, then you add 1001 plus 1002. That does not make sense. It's just like phone number. You cannot add phone numbers together, all right? But they could be seen as a numerical value, but you should not consider them as numerical values because you cannot apply it. It is not logical to apply numerical functions or calculations on those things. Those are identifiers. Do you understand that point? So if you run an average on an order ID, even though it is numbers, don't be deceived because you got a response. What you just did is you told it to consider those things as numbers and calculate them, and then you give a wrong response. No. So what you need to do is to get the real average of order IDs, you need to understand the logic. That means I want to know how many orders customers made. Then I want to get the average of those orders. Okay. You are trying to get the counts of orders, then the average on those counts. But you see, what you are trying to do now is to generate something and then apply a calculation on what you've generated. Okay. So to achieve that, you can use subqueries, you can use CTEs. Look at this now. Now, what I have gotten the count. Okay, so let's call this, let's say this is frequency. Okay, frequency. This is how frequent the customer has bought these items. So if I want to get the average of this, what should I do? This is, you can use Windows function, right? But let's assume that you're not going to use Windows function. So let's say you want to get the average of this. It's just one value. So all I need to do is say, okay, I want the average, right? So let's do this. So I'll say select average, right, of this particular value, isn't it? So I'll say select average of this, right? So that's what I want to get. So how am I going to do an average of this entire thing? You can use a subquery, but it's even easier and more readable if you use what do you call it? If you use CTE. Okay. Do we understand the explanation to this point? Are we good to go? Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Now, if I want to do this as a subquery, look at what is going to happen. If I want to do this as a subquery, so I'll first do this as a subquery before I use it as a CTE. Okay. If I want to do this as a subquery, what I will do is I'll say select average. This is going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. This is going to be tricky, and this is going to be a bit complex. So I'll say select Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so let's not make today's class complicated. All right, so let's just continue with our CT, because if you want to do average, you want to use if you want to use subqueries, it's going to be a bit complicated here, right? It's possible to use subqueries, but that's why you have CT, to make it easier, to be readable and the rest. Okay, so let's I don't want to confuse you guys. Okay, so let's just go with the CT. So now I want to use CT. First of all, I'll convert this. All right. So I'll say with say customer frequency as this. Okay. I'll put this in parentheses. All right. So when I put it in parentheses, I'll remove this semicolon. Remember, semicolon in a query just simply means that that's the end of the query. So you have to remove the semicolon from inside here, because that's not the end. So with this, I can just say select the average of this frequency from this table called customer frequency here, and I will get the exact average. Is that okay? Do we still have people that are confused? Do you understand this part? Thomas, is it clear now? Okay. All right. So this is just what CTE does. Okay. So like if you could maybe rewatch this explanation, especially how I explained this one, because I took my time to explain this first one. Creating a table, and then you can write queries on that table. Okay. Let me just do a bit of complication. All right. So let's say I want to use a subquery. So this is one of the reasons why we have cities. Cities, whatever cities can do, subqueries could actually do them, but it's going to be too complicated at some point. So cities are more like your complicated subqueries that can now be simplified. If I want to do this as a subquery, I would probably say something like select, let me see, am I going to get it right? I'm thinking of the logic. So I'll say maybe select frequency from, then I'll put this in parentheses and I would give these a name. So I'll say maybe frequency table. Is this going to work? Okay, I think I have an issue here. Oh no, this P. Okay, so I have the results here. All right, so you can see how it is. This is the same thing, but this is a subquery. Do you understand? So this is the same thing, but this is a subquery. So you can see how it is. It is not even looking so readable, but you get the same results. All right. So imagine this versus this. So with this one, this is subquery, right? So you write this stuff, it's coming inside here. Meanwhile, the whole thing is coming from here. But in CTE, you know that when you read it, you can see the sequence that, okay, it has created this table, and now I'm querying from what I created. So you see the difference. So you can actually achieve almost the same thing with subqueries. But the thing is, subqueries becomes complicated and almost not readable enough after when you are doing something, like this kind of nestings, okay? But CTE comes in to help in the readability of it. So tomorrow, when you visit this your query, you can look at it and you understand what is there. Okay? All right. Mm. Are we okay? Okay, so now let's continue. I hope for those that had issues with cities, this is clear enough for you. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Was it was it Godwin or who was about sharing?
I think Gabriel.
Gabriel, yes. Yes.
Gabriel, are you ready now? Is he still on this call? Yeah, Gabriel Austin. Gabriel, are you still there? Are you ready to share now? Gabriel, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and let us know if you are ready to share your screen now. Or is there any other person that has an issue? Hello, anyone? Somebody? Is there somebody that would like to maybe share their screen for an issue that they are facing? Guys, we are here for you. Byron is here for you. Byron is here to attend to the issues that you might have concerning maybe SQL exams that you are currently taking. So if you have any issues or anything you want to clarify, you can just raise your hand and mention it to Byron so that he can help you with it. Okay, Byron, I think Dennis is saying that they have an issue connecting my Jupyter notebook to my SQL workbench.
Yeah, so we had already addressed this issue of Jupyter Notebook, and we are not doing extra troubleshooting on that because we had already given you an alternative measure. You are not submitting your notebook for SQL in the exam. We've mentioned that a, a couple of times. We've even given you access to, we've created TMDB database as a .sql file. So if you can't, if you've not heard about it, you can go to the eHub space and you check for the slides that was shared for the last webinar. Okay, you will see the link there. So the link to the TMDB database that you can use on your MySQL workbench. Okay, so please let's use that instead of trying to use what do you call it, the Jupyter notebook. If you're having issues, you can use TMDB on your MySQL workbench and still write your exam. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that, Byron. I hope that's clear, Dennis. Um, yeah. So is there any other issue? Do we have any other issue that would like to tackle as well? Guys, we're taking the silence as a no, that there are no issues.
Yeah, so I think we should just so it is okay. Justice is saying help me connect Northwind database on my SQL workbench. Sylvia asking if I can tell you about Join. So Join is like a full course on its own. So what aspects of the Join are you having challenges with? Because this is an office hour. It's not meant to be like a full lecture, right? It's just to help you out, clarify certain things, okay? Because we've been having like webinars to explain different things. I know how I had discussed um the left and right join in one of the PPL sessions. I've discussed even subqueries in full and CTEs, so order of execution and the rest. So it's not going to be productive if we repeat the things that we've done already in full. Okay, so just if there is a particular challenge you're having with a particular concept, that's what the office hour is for. Just bring it up. It's not like a time to do a full teaching again. All right, so just let me know, because when you're talking of join, you're talking of left join, talking of right join, kind of inner join, full outer join, and then before you know, you're getting to unions. So that's like a whole lot. It's no longer um it no longer explains what office hour would be for. Okay, so just wherever you have issues in the join, you could just highlight it, and then we'll see how we can help you out. So just as you're saying, connecting your Northwind database on MySQL Workbench. Okay, what's going to happen is let me check for the file. So what I notice is I think it's it's the way some persons probably do that. So you're probably not doing it in the right order. Okay, so all we just I'm trying to get the folder. Okay, let me see. Although those links have been shared across, so because the query has been written, all you just need to do is to run the query, and that's all. That's just all you need to do. You just run the query. Let me see. Yeah, so just to I want to ask the file you are talking of, the NotWin database you are talking of, is it .sql or .db? Because it has to be a .sql file. Okay, it has to be a .sql file. So if you check the materials we've been doing, the previous ones, like the webinar before last week, I think you have the link to the folder that has all those files, right? You have the link to the folder that has the Northwind, that has the TMDB, that has the Chinook in .sql. Okay, so just what you just need to do is just open the file and run it. And the webinar before last week, I think the one that had to do with I think ERDs, I took my time in this in showing you how to open the file and how to run it, how to run those things. Okay. I showed from scratch, like from the desktop, how you download it, you open it, and how to run it. So if you check the ERD PPL or webinar, you would see that properly explained. Okay, so I think we should wrap it up because we've really done a lot for the SQL, especially the SQL exam. The last webinar was also about SQL exam prep, and this is office hours. So we would not spend so much time waiting. So we believe that you actually getting it right. And whatever we've talked about is probably your pain point. Okay. So if there's any other issue, you could put it on answer base, and then we'll see how to address that. So I think we can call these a wrap, except to just give it like maybe a minute, few seconds to see if there is any final requests, and then we wrap it up. Any final one? And we wrap it up. Okay, so let's definitely call it a day right now. And thank you very much. And please do enjoy your sessions, and I wish you the very best in your exam. So for the next week, your next webinar is going to be on visualizations. All right, your next webinar is going to be on visualizations. So it would be great if you are there, because I'll be showing you something that you wouldn't really expect. Okay. So yeah, so because people confuse data storytelling with data visualization and business intelligence, so they are different. Okay. So I will start with explaining to you practically what a professional visual looks like. Okay. So we're going to meet in the next one. But for now, please try and get your exam done, and wish you the very best once again. Okay. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Bye.